Welcome. This is the Modern Streamers League. I'm Mike Goldenberg, the SaintDoom's. With me is Garrett Martin, a longtime Abzan Company player and repeat member of the Modern Streamers League. We are proudly sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and by Card Order. Garrett, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Garrett Martin, and yes, as Mike said earlier, I do play a lot of Abzan Company. That's pretty much all I play in Modern, because it's easily the best deck. And yeah, I can't wait to get to watching the matches tonight.
You can grade how Garrett thinks the Modern format is in terms of health by how good Devoted Druid is in the format. If Devoted Druid's great, doesn't matter if anything else is running rampant. Cards can be burning in the background of Modern, and Garrett would be like, this is the best Modern format ever. So glad to have you on board.
I did love Hogak quite a bit. Hogak format was amazing, because Druid, oh yeah.
Druid, yep. Although Druid was great, but the Infinite Life combo unfortunately couldn't beat Hogak, which is a big part of the reason why Hogak had to go, because they had that ridiculous backup mill plan.
Oh, yeah.
So we've had a whole round of Modern Magic so far. Everyone's played at least once. We have 8 happy players and 8 unhappy players. Garrett and I are happy players.
Oh, yes.
So the Devoted Druid fan club is here tonight to hopefully give you a very entertaining show. We have 4 matches. We're leading off with the loser bracket tonight. Sodek against KO Diamonds. Sodek has every player tonight will have 2 decks left. Half of them, when they leave, will be losing one of their decks. Half will be moving on still with 2 decks. So it's Sodek against KO Diamonds, Dylan Hand against VizQuiz, Fluffy Wolf 2 against Yamakiller, and we will end the night with Francisco against Caleb Schur. So it should be a lot of big names here. This should be a really entertaining, fun show. Decks look like they could be a little quick, though. I was looking over the deck selections that opponents could have. So a lot of combo decks in these 8 decks we have, or 16 decks we have available tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if anybody chooses aggro decks versus a combo decks, or everybody's just going to try to win as fast as possible because everyone has the ability to really combo off against their opponent.
Absolutely.
I wonder if we're going to see any combo mirrors.
Combo mirrors could be interesting. It could be like last night where Neo Brand just lost to itself game 1. That was That was good for me to see because I am not a fan of Neo Brand. And I know neither is Francisco, who is playing tonight and potentially even playing against Neo Brand. Catching up on chat, thank you very much for the birthday wishes. I am now 33 years old. We're young. Ooh, yeah, I'm getting up there. Yeah, no grays in the beard yet, although there was one. My wife pointed out like 2 days ago. She's like, "Oh, hold on a second. It's a gray." And I was like, "No, too soon. Too soon."
Rip that bad boy out of there.
It's gone now. But
Too bad we don't have Andrea out here. We got the beards rocking today.
We do. We had Andrea last night, so. So I'm excited about the matches we have tonight. So I'd like to jump on board with them, and then we'll keep chatting in between each round. So the first one is Sodek against KO Diamonds. Sodek has Dredge and Amulet, and KO Diamonds has Abzan, Loris, and Neobrand. Which decks do you think we are going to see from who, Garrett?
Since Sodek has an aggressive decks versus Code Diamond's mid-range deck, I don't think that Kevin is going to even pick his mid-range deck just because it's not good against either Dredge or Amulet. And so I don't think it matters which one Sodek goes toward because either one doesn't have a great matchup versus Neobrand. I think sometimes, though, with the Dredge deck, you can sometimes mill a couple, like 2 or 3 Creeping Chills to get to the Neobrand life total down far enough where they can't just go off, because then you just kind of brick because you can only draw so many cards because your life total's too low already. But that's the only... I would pick Dredge if I was in Sodek's position, but I don't know
I think Dredge might have a slightly higher chance of winning, potentially, against Neobrand, because Amulet has such a bad matchup against Neobrand.
Yeah.
But I will say, due to the nature of this tournament, each player brings in 3 decks, and when you lose with a deck, that deck is eliminated forever. It's possible Sodek, already losing one of his 2 Dredge decks and being the best Dredge player in the world, might say, my best chance at this tournament, I have a bad matchup today no matter what. My best bet at the tournament might be to make sure I have Dredge for as long as possible. So he might kind of play Amulet as almost like a throwaway, sacrificial Titan tonight. So that is a
That's and then if you end up winning, then it's just a plus because you still have 2 decks.
in Amulet
Okay.
Titan. I don't think the Dredge matchup is that much better against Neobrand.
No.
Because Amulet Titan could have a turn 2 win.
Yeah.
And that can be, a turn 3 kill from Neobrand, or even a turn 2 kill from Neobrand on the play.
Yeah, I don't think it matters that much. Like, it's very little which one Sodek would pick. I think the strategical aspect that you said makes sense, that Sodek probably goes with Titan as a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I had those bad matchups. I'd throw whichever deck I thought had the worst, because I don't think that, like I said, it's not like it's like 50%, 30%. I think it's like 30, 25%.
Yeah,
so it's not like there's a huge change there. So
yeah.
Right after a short break, we're gonna have Sodek against KO Diamonds, and we will see how it all plays out. We'll see you in a minute. We're back. We get the perspective of Kevin Wang, KO Diamonds, who was in the booth last night with Andrea Biaggi. So let's see what KO Diamonds does. I think we are all pretty certain he's going to be on Neobrand, like Garrett was saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, okay. So that makes sense. Not a good hand, though. But, I mean, this deck is known for just mulliganing to 4 and still winning on turn 1, so, like, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a clear mull.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. This hand's fine if
he's on.
He can't win on turn 1.
No, he can't.
But
he needs a lane. He needs 2 more mana to even win here.
Yeah. So if he draws like a land and a Neoform, or he draws 2 lands in a row, then it should be a pretty easy win on turn 2 or 3.
Yep. So Spirit Guy would do it too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so Sodek is on Amulet Titan, and he starts off with Amulet, which is exactly what he needs to start off with here.
Well, that's good for Kevin. I would assume he puts the Botanical Sanctum on top.
Yeah, he needs a 3rd land. And then, what does he do? Chancellor of the Tangle, I think he needs to keep in his hand just to have an extra green card. That way he can get rid of the Summoner's Pact and the Tangle to Allosaurus Rider.
Yeah, and he can keep
3.
And he can win. He also has double green for the Allosaurus Rider with the Autochron Worm, but it's nicer to keep that in your hand to gain life with.
Absolutely, because you never want to be comboing off and then not be able to finish.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin.
Absolutely, this is a turn 3 kill, chat.
Yeah. Kevin is known for his decidedly slow play.
We might have like a 20-minute Neoform match here.
Ooh.
Do we have a turn 2 kill here from Sodek?
Needs a bounce land. Oh.
Honestly, a turn 3 kill on the play would be good enough to win here.
Just dealing any amount of damage, like he doesn't even have to. Even if he has like the combo in his hand, like maybe you drew one of the lands he needs to combo with Amulet. Even if he does him like 8 or 10 damage, sometimes that can be enough to only let the Grizzlebrand player draw like one card. Well, that's disappointing to see a relic.
Let me just type the deck lists, put them in chat. There you go. If you guys want to find copies of the deck list, this is an open deck list tournament. Like Garrett and I were discussing, players have decks and they keep playing until they have none. At this point, both players entered this round with 2 decks, but once they know what their opponent's on, they know exactly the full exact deck list of that opponent, so you can kind of sideboard there. Although this matchup is just who can combo off quicker and does Neobrand fizzle out, which I'm hoping it does because I like Kevin a lot, but I hate Neobrand with a passion. I don't like.
Yeah, I'm surprised he bottomed that green card so he could keep the Autocron Worm in his hand. And yeah, I'm a little surprised to see that there. Like, what is he hoping to draw? Because it doesn't really matter at this point what's in his hand too much. Or if you want to keep the second Summoner's Pack, that also helps you find another Autocron Worm if you need it.
Yep. So a Titan is lethal unless he has exactly Slayer's Stronghold or like a Boro. Actually, that doesn't even matter. Titan should be lethal here. He's got to explore, so if he's got a Titan, this is game over right now, and Sodek would be closing out game 1 against a very bad matchup. Being on the play is very, very important here. So 4 cards in hand. Does he have... Oh no, that's a sign of weakness right there.
Yeah, not playing the other bounce land. Strange. I mean, that's the start you want to keep, though. Like, I don't think I would blame Sodek for not mulliganing, because if you have both amulets, and if you ever just draw the Titan, you just win.
Oh no, attack with Scout. This game's over. Sodek needed to have a Summoner's Pact, a Teleria West, or a Titan there, because he had enough mana to also grab the Teleria West, Transmute, and Pact, because that was a Simic Growth Chamber there. Hate to see it. You hate to see, you know, he had exactly the hand he was looking for, like you were just saying. It just, he was missing one piece, and I think he's got 10 copies of that card. If you look at Primetime, Summoner's Pact, I think he's got 2 Teleria West. Let me pull up this list.
I always hope that, like, when I'm playing against Neobrand, I always hope they, like, misclick with Grizzlebrand when they click, when they Neoform, they accidentally click, like, something else. Like a Chancellor of the Tangle. I've had a couple opponents do that before. Like, they probably just didn't, they did not mean to do that, but it's always funny.
You gotta hope your cheesy combo opponent makes some mistake here, right? I mean, there's still a chance of fizzling out. Looks like 20 cards left in KO Diamond's deck.
I think it's pretty...
Oh, he's got the
deterministic now, yeah. Unless you're like Labman is your last card in hand, but then again you have Manamorphoses to like do things like that. So
he's got the Street Wraith even too. So he just needs a
single... And there's already Manamorphose, and he also has Wild Cantor in the deck. So
this game's over because there's no main deck removal from Sodek's Amulet Titan deck. Yikes.
It's fairly trivial to combo with the Grizzlebrand deck too.
Yeah, let's see what he brings in. The Dissenter's Deliverance. Destroy target artifact, hits both Grafdigger's Cage and Amulet, which stops Sodek's fast wins and stops Sodek's interaction with Neobrand. So I think that's definitely going to come in. KO Diamond showing off the Singleton Siege Rhino he has in the deck, so he can feel less ashamed at playing a dirty combo deck. He's a known green-black X player. So, love Siege Rhino. Siege Rhino is a card that he tries to jam into every Modern event that he can. Unfortunately, though, Modern has left Siege Rhino behind. Interestingly enough, Pioneer has actually left Siege Rhino behind.
It's really sad. I was just playing some Pioneer earlier today, and I was trying to break Yorion with Siege Rhino, because if you just curve Siege Rhino into Yorion, that just sounds fun.
That
But
sounds a lot of fun.
it just doesn't line up well against the go big decks. Like when you're playing against these Fire Super Friends decks, or the way that Magic has changed in the past couple of years, where like Siege Rhino is still good against those aggro decks and mid range, kind of against the mid range decks, but it just doesn't beat any of the things that the bigger mid range decks are going over the top of now.
And it still
But
dies to Fatal Push with
yeah,
their like
it does.
back when Siege Rhino was at its heyday, which that was when
Oh
Abzan,
yeah.
big Abzan was a really big deck. It was like Abzan versus Jeskai was like the big thing Modern was at the time. In Siege Rhino, it was like the Jeskai player had bolts, helixes, electrolyze, and then you had Siege Rhino. It's like you have to have your Path to Exile, or
Mhm.
this guy is just gonna absolutely win the game.
Yeah, Siege Rhino was even in the pod decks back then. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was just such a good card, and that's what ended up getting pod banned. Really, was Siege Rhino. After Siege Rhino got printed, it was just every single tournament was pod plus Rhino, because it was such a good backup plan to
Yep,
your Infinite Life.
a 4/5
Yeah.
trample does work. I've beaten Tron players with a Siege Rhino. You know, they'll be at like 2-3 life
Oh,
and drop like a worm coil and say, "What now?" And I'll be like, "This card,
yeah.
Lightning Helix your face."
Yeah, my favorite is when they're exactly at 3 life and you top deck the Siege Rhino. It feels so good.
I love
That
the
or
traverse
Murderous Red
decks
Cap.
where they're at 3 life and you have 5 mana. And you go Traverse, Siege Rhino, Siege Rhino.
Yeah.
This hand looks pretty good. It's got the Serum Visions as a cantrip, and Dissenter's Deliverance is really important. Oh, it's a
Oh,
5. Dissenter's
yeah.
Deliverance is really important. It's stopping the interaction Sodek has, and also, like I said, Sodek can't have a fast combo kill without Amulet. He can have a turn 4 Fair Titan pretty easily without Amulet. Even a turn 3 thanks to Garam Brig and like a turn 1 Scout, but you can't do a turn 2 or
Well,
turn 3 kill without Amulet.
that's a turn 3 kill if Code Diamonds hits a land.
He's got another Serum Visions next turn to find that land. He's running a really low land count. What is he at? 13 lands.
Yeah, that seems fine to me.
Uh,
Ooh,
that's
that's
that Deliverance is going to do work here.
yeah. And unfortunately, Kevin can't really play the Serum Visions this turn because you just want to bank on drawing that untapped green land and just Dissenter's Deliverance this on the end step. Oh, at least that's what I would do.
Oh, he doesn't
Well,
even need the third land anymore.
yeah,
So this is a turn 4 kill he's representing here because next turn he has to take off to destroy the Grafdigger's Cage, and then he gets to win the game the
yeah,
following turn. But he can do that at instant speed because Deliverance is an instant. And
yep.
Sodek is not putting any pressure on the board here with
No,
a kind of anemic start.
I'd be. Uh, no, I was saying I would be tempted to play Allosaurus Rider out here, but kind of. Not especially
Beast
tempted.
Within, pretty sure Sodek's running Beast Within. Beast Within's a
Oh,
card that I would bring in. Does he have it? No, he does not have Beast Within. I wouldn't, if I were him, I wouldn't bring in Dismember. But Beast Within is a perfectly
yeah.
acceptable card because you can sometimes steal a game by Beast Within in the Grizzlebrand.
Or Aether Gust. Like
That's
if
I'm
it,
running Ethergust in my
yeah.
Titan sideboard. It's really good against a lot of matchups. It's good against Mono Red Prowess. It's good against the Mirror because it doesn't actually counter the spell or permanent. And it's really good in a matchup like this where all they're doing is playing a bunch of green spells.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna matter for Sodek because he doesn't have an amulet. So like, even if he gets a prime time down next turn, it's just not gonna matter because the Grafdigger's Cage, unless he gets another Grafdigger's Cage out next turn, or somehow plays an amulet next turn, I don't think it'll matter.
Right. Sudden Shock, the Lab Maniac is the real spice. I guess so, but that just loses the fastest Oracle.
Although most of these decks don't play Thassa's Oracle.
Why is he doing this at sorcery
I don't
speed?
know. Oh, like even if I guess he's trying to play around Pact of Negation because he can't cast Pact of Negation right now, Sodek. But like
Or any
that's all I can
counter
think of.
magic. I mean, Sodek can't
Yeah,
cast any counter magic, but if you look at Sodek's list, Mystical Dispute is. I guess he's playing around Mystical Dispute then, right? Because he doesn't have double blue, so even if he had the Pact, he can't cast it. So if Sodek went like untapped Breeding Pool, hold up Mystical Dispute, now you're in trouble.
yeah.
So all right, that line makes a lot of sense then. And
I
he
guess
definitely brought in those
okay.
disputes.
Yeah, probably. I unfortunately I don't think Sodek has anything unless he goes like Dryad and hold up Mystical Dispute. But yeah.
This looks like a Titan here. Okay. So unfortunately, unless Kevin fizzles, it's game over. I guess Sodek could be holding a Pact of Negation.
Yeah, he can
We'll
cast
see
it
if he
now.
grabs two blue mana. If he does, then he's going to be clearly holding up that Pact of Negation, which might give KO Diamond some pause here.
I don't think Co Diamonds can really play around it, but like
No. And he's dead
I
if
think
he has it.
yeah.
He would have to pay for 2 packs. That's true. So it'd be 1, 2,
Oh
3,
yeah, I don't.
4, 1. I forgot he packed it for the Titan. Good job, chat.
Oh
One.
yeah.
Yeah, he can't do both. So he has no outs.
Yeah, just the only out was to Code Diamonds whiffing or bricking,
He still could brick. Yep.
which is very unlikely with the deck. But I've had it happen quite a bit when I've been playing. Like I feel like it shouldn't happen that often, but like I've had it happen quite a bit. Even if I get like 3 or 4 damage in just from like a noble or something. But
Yeah, I mean it is entirely possible if he just never draws the life gain. You know,
yeah,
he's got because he's got the worm in his hand already, so he can gain a ton of life. But if he never draws, what's that card called? I'm blanking on it right now. Shoal. If he never draws Shoal,
Nourishing Shoal. Yeah,
Nourishing Shoal. Yep. So we just get to see Sodek's tanking a little bit here,
yeah.
taking his
Somehow
time.
I don't normally see people with less time on the clock than Code Diamonds.
We should screenshot this in
Oh
MSL
yeah.
first. So double Valakut. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Sodek is going to lose here.
Sodek was setting up to guarantee a victory next turn. Is if he's
Yeah.
got another pact. So will Kevin make a mistake here? Okay, he can activate it one more time. Will he have anything off the top 7 cards? He does have that free cycle and Edge of Autumn. Wow. No
That
Shoal.
sucks.
No Shoal here. This doesn't suck.
He's
This is
still.
awesome. Let's go
Uh,
Sodek. Let's go
well,
Amulet Titan here.
I have to root for my friend, but he also used another cycle with Dissenter's Deliverance. I guess he drew Serum Visions too. This is better. Oh
Okay.
no! Oh no!
All right. So he just went
He draw
through 3
Shoal.
more cards. He's got the Edge of Autumn, which he can cycle. So he's down to the last. He has to have Shoal off the top of his deck, otherwise this game is over.
Kind of.
He can't pay for his pact.
Yeah, he can because summon Simian Spirit Guide, and he has
That's
3
true.
lands.
But he's dead to the Primetime with double Valakut there.
Block. Oh yeah, that's well.
He should be dead to
Hopefully,
it. Yeah.
yeah, he has to have the Dryad. But oh wait, no, he's gonna sack his land.
Yep. Game over.
Yeah, I think you don't sack your land there, because if they don't have a Dryad, you have an 8/8.
Does Neoform run any basic lands?
Yeah, Kevin just sacked an island.
So he only had his only basic land
Dang.
was already in play. So Ghost Quarter wasn't out for Sodek. So Sodek just won anyway, just from having a Ghost Quarter in his deck. So it didn't matter. He had to go for it right now.
Wow.
Even if like Sodek didn't have the Dryad to just kill him with the Valakut triggers, he was still just dead to a single Ghost Quarter. Like primetime attack, fetches
Yeah,
up a Ghost Quarter bounce the
and a
Ghost
bounce
Quarter,
land. Yeah,
play the Ghost Quarter land for turn, destroy Botanical Sanctum, and dead to your own trigger there.
wild. That's insane. That's crazy. I was not expecting that at all. Like,
That's what Sodek's outs were, and that's what we were
yeah,
talking about a little bit before. Like this is a terrible matchup. You need to get a little bit lucky, and KO Diamonds didn't draw well right there. Didn't draw any of his shoals. It looks like he put in the rest of the Dissenter's Deliverance, which I think is correct. I think he needs as many of those as possible to slow down Sodek's interaction and fast combo.
I agree. And I would actually kind of like to see the Siege Rhino. I'm just kidding.
I would like to see the Siege Rhino. I want to see Kevin cast that Siege Rhino. You put it in your 75.
Yeah.
I want you to play it. He can cast it, I guess, with Gemstone Mines and Metamorphose, but I just want to see at some point him cast that Siege Rhino. And then I'll
Man,
say, okay.
If he loses this match, then he might not be able to cast Siege Rhino ever.
Well, this looks like a turn 2 win here.
Yeah, this is just. Yep.
Turn 2 win on the play. Sodek needs a turn 1 cage. Or he needs KO Diamonds to fizzle again. This is why I don't like this Neo brand deck. I guess a turn 1 Breeding Pool, a Mystical Dispute also is something Sodek could be looking for. Sodek needs turn 1 interaction here.
Especially if the Neo brand player keeps 7, you really got a mulligan for that interaction.
Chat's asking for the deck lists. Sending the link there. ModernStreamersLeague.com has all of the deck list links. Each player starts with 3 deck lists. And every time you lose the deck list you lost with. So real incentive to not lose, because not only it's a triple elimination tournament, you're closer to being eliminated from the tournament, you also have less selection as the tournament progresses.
The burn by Andrea and chat. SaintDoom's is old.
How old are you, Andrea? Okay, that was not it. So this looks like the only out Sodek has at this point is for Kevin to misclick or Kevin to whiff again.
Which Kevin does. Andrea's not old. He's like 22. I'm just kidding.
I'm 33. I'm not that old, right?
You're 12 years older than I am.
Yikes. That's not the ageist. That's not the ageist in this.
Fair.
I'm an elder millennial here.
I
remember time before internet.
I don't think it's possible now for him to fizzle because he has another Nourishing Shoal and a worm in his hand. So he's going to go like 35. Yeah, he's there. Unless that, I don't know.
He's doing F6. Some math here. $33 and still know how to work Twitch. Is your grandson helping you?
Ooh.
Wow. I am a millennial. I was 14 years old for 9/11. So I'm an elder millennial, but I'm still in that millennial category. I'm the age that got really screwed over by every economic downturn we've had so far.
That's pretty bad.
The world has some not so great things going on right now, so
yeah.
One of the reasons why we're here, everyone can stick together, stay at home, and watch some Modern Magic gameplay. Hopefully, not too many more Neo brand decks. I'm really hoping Kevin fizzles here. Doesn't look like he can, but I just want Neo brand to get eliminated and clean swept out of the format. I just want it out of the tournament so I don't have to play against it.
I don't know what Kevin's doing here.
He's got 13 cards left in his deck, so he's looking to find Labman. But he's got the Labman.
He has Labman, yeah. He's looking for another mana source, it looks like. Because he needs a mana source to play. Because he has the Manamorphose to make the blue mana, but he needs a Simian Spirit Guide.
12 cards left in his deck here. There's a Simian
Oh,
Spirit Guide. Pact the Negation backup. This game's over.
Yep. Yep. That's pretty much how that matchup. Well, that's not really not how that matchup goes. The game 3 is really a pretty clear indicator of how that matchup goes. But game 1 and game 2 were pretty long, and Kevin whiffing and fizzling on that game 2 was pretty exciting.
Looking at that matchup, Sodek had his chances. Game 1, if Sodek had a Titan, a Tolaria West, or a Summoner's Pact, he won turn 3. He didn't have any of those. That's 10 cards in his deck he could have had. He'd even had an extra free redraw with Explore. Not having those cost him that round, that game. Game 2, Kevin fizzled. So there is a universe out there where Sodek stole game 1, being on the play, beating a turn 3 kill with his own turn 3 kill, and then Kevin fizzled one match and Sodek walked away with a victory. So, despite being a terrible matchup for Amulet Titan, hashtag no bad matchups, Sodek still could have won that round, still could have won that matchup, and we could have been applauding him right now and saying, thank you for getting rid of Neo Brand, and thank you for beating up on Kevin a little bit.
Yeah, now we have to deal with Kevin saying he won with Siege Rhino in his sideboard.
So Sodek did do what we guessed and threw away that Amulet Titan deck, and gets to keep Dredge. So we do get to see more Dredge from the Dredge Master coming up. So I'm excited for that. He will be moving to the elimination round, unfortunately. And Kevin Wang stays in the loser's bracket. So we have 3 brackets. The winner's bracket, which are people who are undefeated. The loser's bracket, people with 1 loss. And the elimination bracket, people with 2 losses. Once you lose a match in the elimination bracket, which will be airing next week, you are gone. Done from the tournament. 3 losses and you are out.
I'm not looking forward to when I get there. if I get there.
Well, I mean, 15 of us are going to get there. And there'll only be one person, one player left. So I'm pretty excited for that. So, Garrett, a little bit about yourself. What is your favorite Magic card and why?
My favorite Magic card ever is probably Kitchen Finks. It's just, ever since I started playing Magic, around like Cons of Tarkir. That's when I started playing, and I just fell in love with Kitchen Finks. And when Pod was printed in Siege Rhino, I played a lot of Standard and a lot of Modern, and Kitchen Finks was just my favorite card. And every single time I pick up Modern again, like even after taking breaks, I just always fall back on that card every time.
Nice and not losing to aggro. Yep.
Yeah, and it's just a great play on turn 3, except when there's a Karn Liberated. But other than that,
that's my favorite. A good time when Karn Liberated is on the table, except for the person controlling the Karn. Actually, when you cast Karn Liberated, are you still having a good time? Asking all you Tron players out there.
Right.
Because I've played against a lot of like F&M Tron players, and they'll cast like a turn 3. They'll multi like 4, cast a turn 3 Karn, and then apologize. During a tournament, people don't apologize. That's why I mentioned the F&M. But plenty of paper players are just like, sorry.
Yeah, it's like when you're at F&M, you're trying to have fun. It's like, are you having fun playing this Tron deck? Like,
maybe. So I laughed when you said that Kitchen Finks was your favorite card, because last night after the show, Capolo and Kevin and I talked about you and what we thought your favorite card was, and it was Kitchen Finks. So either we know you a lot, or it's confirmed that someone's spying on you. So, or we just watched that every single one of your streams has had the phrase Kitchen Finks mentioned.
Fair. Almost all of them.
Almost. Yeah. So next up, we have Dylan Hand against Viz Quiz. Dylan Hand has 2 decks left. He lost Humans, so he has Burn and Yorion Urza. And Viz Quiz has Urza and a combo deck. Looks like Grizzlebrand. So which deck would you play? Grizzlebrand and Urza versus Burn and Urza. Which deck would you pick from whose perspective and why?
That's a little tricky because there's an Urza mirror in there, and that sounds. I think both players would rather want to play the mirror, but also Dylan has Burn available, and Ryan only has, or Vizquiz only has Urza and Griselbrand, and Griselbrand's okay against Burn, but if you don't have that turn 2 kill, Burn's gonna get you because they've already dealt you 3 or 6 or 9 damage on turn 2. So like Dylan might lean toward Burn, and Burn's actually pretty good against Urza. It depends on the Urza list and how specific they are, but Burn is pretty good against Urza if you have a Skull, what is it? Smash to Smithereens in your sideboard, which I would actually be surprised if those were in the sideboard of Dylan's.
Dylan
okay.
has 2 Smash side, and I think the most important card in Dylan's list is 4 Eidolon the Great Revel main, which will help against Griselbrand and help against Urza.
Yeah, I think if I was Dylan, I would pick Burn because I think you have a decent matchup. Like Griselbrand is iffy because they can just kill you on turn 2, but if they don't kill you on turn 2, I think it's a pretty solid win for Burn. So I would be surprised if Dylan didn't pick Burn, and then I would be surprised if Vizquiz picked Griselbrand. I think you will want Urza because Urza can still steal wins against Burn.
Urza does have a lot more cards that can dodge the Eidolon. I feel like if the matchup is Griselbrand versus Burn, all Dylan has to do is drop an Eidolon, and that survive turn 2, drop an Eidolon, and then the game can be effectively end. So that's what we think. Those are the decks left. Check out ModernStreamersLeague.com, the deck list tab. You can see all the deck lists right there. We are proudly sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and by Card Hoarder. We'll be back in just a moment. And we are back. Dylan snap playing Burn.
And he has a good hand, too.
Yeah. Turn 1 Goblin Guide. He can double spell turn 2 with the Skewer and Bolt, and then follow things off with a Boros Charm. This could be a turn 3 kill here.
I'd be surprised if Luris really came up in either of the matches against Vizquiz because like there's not a lot of removal in either decks. Simian Spirit Guide. Okay,
so
so
Grizzlebrand.
yeah.
So ModernStreamersLeague.com. That's where you can get the deck lists. Hi Andrew. Hi Michaela. Thank you for the birthday wishes. So are we going to see a turn 1 kill here? Because otherwise, Dylan, I'd feel pretty confident with Dylan. There's not much he can do. His choices are kind of laid out here. He's probably going Bolt, Skewer next turn unless he draws an Eidolon, following that up with a Boros Charm, and that's 10, 12, 14. That's 1 damage shy of lethal, looks like.
Yeah. Well, that's a blocker. It's actually not. That's actually pretty good. But it doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it matters that much.
I don't think so either.
Though I think you do want to block here.
I think he's kind of compelled to. Looks like another Neonate on top. So yeah, it's a free gain 2 life, and you get to filter a card here.
Yeah, hopefully it's a Grizzlebrand. Like it's really weird because if Vizquiz does get a Grizzlebrand into play on turn 2 and attacks with it, that's a 7-point life swing.
Yes. He doesn't even have to win. He just needs to attack the Grizzlebrand once, and the game is probably over.
I'd be surprised to see what Dylan does here. I kind of would probably see a Rift Bolt and then a Lightning Bolt on the end step, and then you can Boros Charm Skewer.
Yep.
Because I think you want to get that Rift Bolt down because it's just most efficient. Because you don't want to have that stuck in your hand as a 3-mana card.
And I would fetch to get the Mountain just to thin your deck just a teensy bit here.
Yeah.
He is not going for the Rift Bolt.
Wow, that's kind of surprising.
Which means he's on the Boros Charm plan because it's the only thing he can really do here. Either cast Lightning Bolt or Boros Charm. He can't double spell here, passing the turn right there.
He might be trying to like get him if he goes for the kill with Grizzlebrand. Although this play kind of makes it kind of bad for Dylan because now he has this Rift Bolt stuck in his hand where it would have been really nice to have it in play.
Rift Bolt being suspend 1 basically reads if the game you can't kill, if you can't, those 3 damage doesn't matter right now, like then it doesn't matter to cast that spell at all. Where he pretty much put himself in a spot where he could have maybe set up lethal. Although that second Neonate prevented that anyway, so I guess that's the argument against that. I still would have held on to that Boros Charm. It's nice to be able to have a double spell effectively because Boros Charm is kind of like a bad double spell. It's like 2 shocks tacked on.
Yeah. And it might not matter actually too, which is interesting because like if Vizquiz just does, even if he does draw Emrakul, even if he just draw a Grizzlebrand on a way to get it into the graveyard and a way to get it into play, it doesn't matter too much now because he's going to be a 4 if Dylan fires off both skewers.
Thoughtseize on top of Ryan Vizquiz's deck. Yeah, it's not a very good card in this particular matchup. Spending a mana to effectively save 1 life point. Vizquiz could have Grizzlebrand, discard Grizzlebrand to the Neonate, untap with Goryo's Vengeance and win the game. That is a line that could happen right here. Vizquiz could be winning next turn against Dylan. Otherwise, I think Dylan's still in a perfectly fine spot.
Yeah.
We know Simian Spirit Guide is one of the 4 cards in Ryan's hand right now.
And now Thoughtseize is also one of the 4 cards because he drew a card with Neonate.
That's correct. He discarded... I can't see that. Can't see what he discarded.
It looks like another Simian Spirit Guide. It looks like he discarded the Simian Spirit Guide.
Yeah.
And suspend the Rift Bolt.
Yeah.
I would have chosen the Skewer, I think, there, because I don't think Vizquiz can win at 4 life, even if you get a 7-card swing. But
can you win at 7 life? 7's a magic number because that's what it costs for a Grizzlebrand activation.
Right? Yeah, but it has haste.
True.
But I don't. Yeah, I think Visquez is too low of a life total now.
This deck has had a pretty high fail rate so far. Looks like
Although just
turn 4 burn kill. The perfectly fair, perfectly fine. Probably the fairest floor you can have is a turn 4 burn kill in Modern. Good job, Dylan, for looks like he's about to close this one out. Yep, and that'll do it.
and Dylan did actually. Yeah, Dylan drew pretty decently because he drew burn spell every turn, which is really what, except for this turn, he drew a land. He kept a 3-lander, but his 3-lander was very good.
Is there a combo kill if you get Grizzlebrand in play? Let's check out the deck list. Again, ModernStreamersLeague.com. You can link to the deck list there. He has a combo kill. Fury of the Horde, which lets you attack a second time. He can just draw through his entire deck and keep attacking. He also has... Actually, that's it. That's a combo kill. Yep, Fury of the Horde, just attack twice. Maybe even attack a third time. He runs 4 of those. So, or he can just use Through the Breach into Emrakul eventually. That's really.
I don't think you want to change too much. Yeah, String Blaze is pretty. String Blaze is still fine, but it's pretty bad.
I mean, what's it gonna hit? It's just gonna hit.
Yeah.
You can't hit Emrakul, so it's just gonna be.
But you could, or the Neonate, which it's probably the best board out. But it's like it's still serviceable because Steering Blaze has 2 different targets, which is really egregious. But
yeah, the fact that you can remove the creature from play and you still lose 3 life.
Yeah.
Path to Exile is not a terrible card to run here. Just because it hits Grizzlebrand, it doesn't do anything against Emrakul though.
Yeah, I think my issue with it is like it gives your opponent a land, which I think can actually be pretty punishing in this matchup. Whoa.
Firewalker.
That's surprising. And I like Tormod's Crypt better, because it's rebuyable with Luris, and I just don't think Path is necessary at all. Firewalker's surprising. Very surprising.
Yeah. I'd be looking to close this game. If I was Dylan, I'd be looking to close this game before Visquez can cast Through the Breach. The Tormod's
That's pretty interesting.
Yep, that is interesting. He's going with Path. I wonder what the Firewalker are for here.
I think because he's on the draw, he wants to play a little more controlling. I think Firewalker is honestly there to pressure through his red creatures, and also, he has a really... Dylan has a great hand.
Every time he casts Fury of the Horde.
Or... Yeah, any red spells from any player, he just gains a bunch of life, so maybe he gets out of just randomly dying 2 Grizzlebrand hits or whatever.
Yeah. Chat, Second Path asked a question about the tournament bracket structure. It's modeled after similar esports style brackets. The bracket manager, Joe Parker, has done a fantastic job, and he's a third party. So whatever bracket style he picked, which I think it looks great. It definitely rewards winning early in the league. It makes the path, the way the bracket's set up, if you lose a couple early, you could go undefeated and still win the thing, but you're going to have to fight much harder. If you can squeeze out, if you can start 4-0,
you have a really good chance of winning it.
Yep, you're going to be in a much better seat than starting 0-2 or even 2-2. So definitely favors being good early. Just really everything in life kind of favors the early bird. Late Line of Sanctity, shutting off the Rift Bolts.
Yeah, so Dylan's getting pretty...
Maybe that's why I brought the core Firewalker.
Yeah. Dylan's getting pretty... can't think of the word. But it's pretty good for Dylan that his opponent has Leyline in play when he boarded out a bunch of burn spells.
Yep.
Funny thing, though, is...
Core Firewalker's awkward, the mana. But having an extra 2/2, I guess, can help him.
Yeah, it's fine.
Also, with the really tiny little bit of text that it gains you life when your opponent might be trying to Fury through the Horde you. But I don't think that's going to be relevant because your opponent's also gaining life every time they attack you like that too.
Viscous is attacking. I wonder if that means there's an Emrakul or something coming down.
Could be.
Yeah, this Eidolon is really good.
Doesn't stop through the breach though.
Doesn't. Yeah, so I think Visquiz isn't like favored right now, just because like Dylan has two blanks in his hand, and if he through the breach is an Emrakul, that's really good because Path to Exile does nothing, and then Dylan has to sack his entire board, and I think Ryan would just be so far ahead at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Path to Exile looks maybe like a dead card right now. Granted, so does Rift Bolt and Lightning Bolt, so creature damage is Dylan's plan right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, missed land drop from
That's really bad.
here. That's not his game plan. His game plan needs to hit his land drops and cast through the breach, barring a fast combo.
So I think I would bolt this Neonate here, honestly.
I agree with that, and
yeah.
Dylan does too. You just need to get damage through.
Yeah, like because now what the bolt he just like Dylan doesn't have any answers for this ley line, so now the burn spells are just for creatures.
Yep. Interesting though. Luris can come in, right? Like Dylan can cast Luris next turn, and Luris kind of fulfills the same role that Core Firewalker would, just being a big beater.
Yeah.
Not a big beater, being a 3 power, but that's still the biggest creature
in Dylan's
75. Yeah.
This is pretty punishing for Visquiz. Is he? I hope. What he really needs to see is he really needs to have a Simian Spirit Guide in his hand and either draw another land or a Spirit Guide and through the breach. Because if Ryan does have that through the breach, and Merkel, he just wins still. Like Dylan has to kill him before that happens.
Choosing to play Monastery Swiftspear and Skullcrack instead of casting Luris. Because I think that was the other line, was to cast Luris there and go for Swiftspear with Skullcrack back up next turn, kind of take one more turn off. But Visquiz drew that another land here, so that window is shut. I don't think that Dylan can afford to not hold Skullcrack up for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Man, that land is pretty good for Dylan, too, because it gives him another permanent to sack.
Well, he's just dead to the 15 damage. He's a 12 life.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So that doesn't... Honestly, the best draw you could have right now is another Skullcrack.
Yeah.
This has been interesting. We've seen Neo Brand and now two Brand decks from the opposing perspective so far to start this night off.
Oh, Ryan's dead here because of prowess triggers. You can just play Luris and Path it, or you can just Rift Bolt your face or Skullcrack. It doesn't matter now. Yeah. Unfortunate.
Skullcrack.
Targeting his face.
Yeah. It's kind of rough. You have to Skullcrack yourself there, but wow. Burn. Dylan Hand taking it down. We have one less Grizzlebrand deck in the Modern Streamers League. I'm personally happy to see that. I don't my deck lists that I submitted for the tournament are kind of weak to these turn 1, turn 2 kill decks. I'm kind of, me personally, happy to see them get taken out a little bit there.
I think Grizzlebrand is an interesting deck because I really think it's more of a turn 4, turn 5 kill deck because there's so much setup and it's not consistent enough. Like, it's consistent at killing on turn 4, and it's actually pretty good at that, but it's pretty bad for
just a bad Amulet Titan deck, right?
Or a bad.
If you're looking to win turn 4, I mean, Burn just did that game 1.
Yeah, I would agree. That's why I think you don't see the deck anymore, is because there's better decks that do what it does, kill on turn 2, turn 3, and it's kind of just too. It's not powerful enough. It doesn't have the tools to keep your opponent. It's not, yeah, it doesn't have the tools to keep your opponent from interacting with you, while there's so many decks that do that now, like Veil of Summer is in every deck, you have Remand all the time, Mystical Dispute, all these cards now that are just like protection spells for all these blue decks that are combo decks, Aether Gust even in these control decks, even an Amulet, like, and it's absurd, and this deck just hasn't adapted to that yet. Neoform is really the updated version of this deck, but
absolutely. Neoform loses to Grafdigger's Cage, where this deck, Grizzlebrand, would not, but I think it's far more consistent. It has better sideboard cards, such as Veil of Summer, and it can even run Ethergust if it really wanted to, but I think Mystical Dispute probably does enough there.
Yeah, and like Fox said, Fox just posted in chat that losing Looting was really bad for this deck, where that card was insane because you just had one copy of Looting, you had 4 extra draws with the flashback. And then also, as Andrea was saying, he used to play that deck a lot. There was a Jund Boar deck with Once Upon a Time, which he played quite a bit. That was cool. It was just another Through the Breach card as well if you gave it haste.
And then grab another card.
Or you could Goryo's Vengeance the Boar, so you could Through the Breach an Emrakul or something, which is so much damage or whatever.
Yeah, just win. Yeah, Boar, what was that called? Like Grizzle Boar? Grizzle Boar, right? Grizzle Boar brand or something. I don't know. That deck was really sweet. We haven't seen that. I was actually afraid in the first Modern Streamers League that Team Fire was going to bring in some of those new Grizzle Boar brand decks. Yeah. But our team packed some extra graveyard hate just to be safe.
Ilhard the Raise Boar, I think that's the name of that card. Yep. Ilhard the Raise Boar.
It's a cool looking card. And what's better than smashing in with a giant boar? You can like make a Timon and Pumbaa reference if you want when, Pumbaa's taking out all the hyenas.
Yeah. So like bowling. Yeah.
Exactly like bowling.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I'm excited. The decks that are seeing play, some of these wilder players that are just have their own tools that they play all the time. Like I'm just a creature combo player. I picked 2 creature combo decks in a Infect deck. Yep. And while there's other people who play Urza deck, there's lots of people who play black-green. I always find it fun when there's people who play all 3 different decks that are just completely random. I'm like, wow.
So you're making fun of my deck selection right now? I have Jund, Amulet Titan, and a Collected Company deck. So I kind of have 3 very different
They all just beat up on each other. They just all beat up on each other.
They all do. They complement each other pretty well. I did want to submit an Urza deck. If I had a 4th, it would have been an Urza deck. But I also didn't have enough time to properly test. I was trying to play with a Urizen, Karn, Urza, this real big nonsense Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl style deck, and I didn't have time to finish testing that before the tournament.
I just brewed up a deck this past weekend, which I would have loved to have in this tournament, which is just Collected Company, but Yorion, and just adding Yorion to it. So it's just even more value. It's so good. And it's so much fun.
Yorion, Eternal Witness, Ranger Captain, your favorite card, Kitchen Finks. I mean, just so many different value cards you can have
Finks, and then you get to add Arkham's Astrolabe. You can even play Wall of Blossoms. It just resets so many things, and the Enter the Battlefield triggers are just so good. And it doesn't even feel less consistent. That's the insane thing about these new companions. The stuff that it's like, only play odd, only play even cards. But you're playing 80 cards now, 20 more cards. You think it's less consistent, but it feels the same. Yep. And it's just wild.
The cool thing is with that Urion and Devoted Druid, you can actually reset Devoted Druid that you had a -1/-1 counter.
Yeah.
Which is it's such a tiny little thing, but that matters sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm playing Auriok Champion in the main deck because there's all these burn decks and stuff. And whenever you Yorion and blink 5 creatures, you gain 5 life. Mm-hmm. And then also if you have
Heliod triggers.
Yeah, Heliod triggers. You have Kitchen Finks. If you can remove a Spike Feeder counter to gain 2 life before you Yorion and then reset the Spike Feeder, and it's pretty fun. Yeah.
It sounds like that's a deck you'll be streaming pretty soon. Where can people catch you on your stream?
You can find me. Oh, when? I usually...
When or where, yeah.
When or where. I try to stream every weekday. I've been pretty inconsistent with school just ending this week, so it'll be more consistent. But I try to play 2 p.m. every day, every weekday. And then you can find me at twitch.tv/Garrett_MartinMTG or on Twitter @GarrettMTG.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the match we have up next is Fluffy Wolf versus Yama Killer. Let me see. Fluffy Wolf has a red deck. Where is his deck list? I had it right here. He lost his turtle deck, which is really sad. I really wanted to see that Luca. I really want to see Turbo Turtle. I really wanted to see that come into play
Oh
with
yeah.
that cycling.
Yeah.
So he has the red green monsters and he has a red Punisher deck. Yama Killer. He has. Where is Yama Killer's deck lists? Luris Prowess and is it Scales left? Luris Scales. So
Okay.
which deck would you play from both perspectives
I
and
think if I
why?
was Fluffy, I would pick red green monsters for sure because you have beefier creatures, you have bigger creatures, kind of, and that can just be bigger than your opponent's creatures, especially if they play prowess. You really can't be playing these cards that just get bolted or lava darted, because it just provides so much tempo for your opponent. Where it's like the prowess deck has very weak cards in them,
Yes.
and but if they out tempo you, those weak cards become extremely powerful, and you just can't play like the small creatures against those decks. So I think I would pick the red green monsters decks. And against scales, I don't think the red green monsters deck or the Punisher deck is very good against both, because these are
I don't think
both
it is either.
decks where if you're playing Blood Moon or something like the red Punisher deck, it doesn't really affect the mono red Prowess deck or the scales deck because half the cards in the deck are colorless. So I think you really, really want to play this red green monsters deck where you can interact with your opponent and your creatures are bigger and you can just try to race them. The red Punisher deck, I think, just gets hit too hard by both the other decks, especially with scales. You can just take out all the small creatures of the red Punisher deck.
The red green monster deck does run 2 pillage main, 1 pillage side, a couple angers side, and then Bone Crusher Giant, which is just extra removal spells in the form of Stomp. Clothis doesn't seem to
Yeah,
do much against really kind of either deck, because Prowess doesn't care as much about life gain, incidental life gain, as a deck like Burn would, which we just saw. So interesting take there. We'll see in a minute or two what decks the opponents ended up playing.
yeah.
Fluffy Wolf versus Yama Killer. Round number 3 tonight. Round 3 to start off our losers bracket. We will see you in just a minute. And we are back. In Fluffy Wolf's perspective, once again,
Okay, so he
mono
went with
red.
the red Punisher deck. And Luris, well, we don't know yet. Luris means scales or prowess.
Yeah. So this deck can right now do a turn 1 Goblin Rabblemaster.
That's pretty good. That's pretty sweet.
I like the sound of that. Sign me up for some more of that brew. Turn 1 Goblin Rabblemaster. That's cool.
It's worth noting that Ash Zealot is pretty good against Lurrus decks as well. Like it bolts you anytime you play a card out of the graveyard, which is pretty wild. Looks like it's prowess, so this mono red Punisher deck is going to be pretty bad versus this.
And that Seal of Fire does a lot against potential Rabblemaster. So no turn 2 Rabblemaster here. Just have that Ash Zealot. Anybody looking for deck lists, ModernStreamersLeague.com, deck list tab. All the deck lists are sorted by player, so you can quickly see your favorite players or the active player right now's deck lists of choice. Thanks, Fox Mitten. Best mod.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good sacrifice there. It looks like Yama might have it. Ooh, that sucks. The second Seal of Fire is pretty bad for that Rabblemaster. Well, a second one's pretty good. But yeah, it looks like Yama Killer doesn't have a pretty fast start. Like there's 0 creatures yet, which that's pretty rough.
When a prowess player plays Crash Through just to draw a card, you know that they're digging for a threat. It's kind of like the old like Death Shadow lists where you just need to draw into a threat. That's what I kind of feel like these decks are here. Look at that. Exiling,
I would definitely bolt.
Simian Spirit Guide, bolting with the prowess triggers on the stack. Phenomenal play.
Yeah, that was a really good right there. And now if Yama doesn't have another like removal spell for this Rabblemaster, he could have a 4th land and just Lurrus
Seal.
That's what's gonna happen. That sucks. So now I think Yama Killer's just way ahead. Like I don't think there's very many creatures. Well, Torbrand's pretty good here.
That is a fantastic draw here. Unfortunately, that Goblin's about to get eaten.
No, it'll kill the Lurrus, so they're not going to trade. I don't think Yama will trade with that Goblin.
Thanks to that Torbrand.
Fortunately, it looks like... Ooh, what is... Light of the Stage. Yeah, so if Yama finds a Bolt, yeah, so this Torbrand's dead because of the Seal of Fire.
Plus the Bolt.
It's just brutal.
Yama Killer having all the amazing cards right now. Another Crash Through he can play next turn.
Yeah, so you see what I'm talking about. Like Lavatar was pretty bad here, but because the other creatures across the side of the aisle are so susceptible to what Yama Killer is doing, and there's no big creatures, that Lavatar becomes potent for light up the stages, and then the other cards can just be able to just play out of the graveyard all the time, and then you'll see the Seal of Fire come back to probably take the Goblin out or just kill Fluffy this turn.
Or just sit there. 1 damage isn't doing anything. Yep. 13-7 with a seal. Oh, a light up the stage too.
Oh wow.
He's got everything
that
right now.
That is brutal. I don't think there's any way for Fluffy to come back out of this.
He doesn't even have to cast a bobble right now if he doesn't want to. So he's going to
don't even need the card. Yeah. I just don't think. Yeah. That's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
And this doesn't do anything.
Seal of Fire, buyback, Eidolon.
Yeah.
Kill Eidolon, and then.
Brutal.
Interesting to note, without the Goblin Rabblemaster, that Goblin token does not have to attack, which is why it's being held back to block here.
I think this shows a perfect example of how good the companions are and how cool gameplay they are, and that you should just ban Seal of Fire. I'm just kidding.
Says the devoted Druid player.
Shh. I have no agenda. I have 0 agenda.
I like Seal of Fire a lot. I've played a lot of Seal of Fire jank decks. Renegade Ralliers I was talking about on stream last night. I used to play Renegade Rallier with Seal of Fire just because I loved Renegade Rallier so much. It was a really cool interaction, but Lurrus just makes Renegade Rallier look silly. Yep, there's a concession.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I know. See, I'm not alone. Someone in chat is saying that Seal of Fire should be banned as well.
I disagree. Seal
I know,
Fire.
I know.
Seal of Fire is not a great card. It just happens to be.
No.
It's very useful. I actually like because it allows Jund decks to kind of tap out a little bit more against certain combo decks.
It's so good in Jund. So one thing that I really think that is super cool about these companions is I'm actually a huge proponent for them in the older formats like Modern and Legacy, but I think they're horrid for Standard.
Yes.
But I really and Pioneer. I think they're bad for Pioneer, but I think they're so much fun for Modern and like Legacy. There's so many answers to the older formats, and there's less like copying. There's less like if someone feels Luris in Modern, there's like 20 decks you can be afraid of. Yep. There's so many. But if like you real Luris in Standard, it's like the same deck. It's like either cycling or red black. There's like no difference, and they're all the same.
And so like exact same decks.
And then there's so many different Yorion decks. There's so many cool things you can do with these companions in Modern because there's so many different cards. Yeah.
And as Chad's pointing out, Luris in Legacy is just busted.
That's true. Luris in Legacy is it's just mono Delver decks and Brainstorm plus card advantage, and Luris with in Legacy is just gross. But still, I think it's pretty fun. People are saying that it's actually pretty enjoyable format so far. It's just only Luris.
Only Delver matchups, yeah.
It's like, and that's what lots of Legacy players like that. I mean, I'm not a Legacy like mega Legacy player. I played it a couple of times. Like I don't know enough about the format to really say what most people are saying. But like mid range, for me is fun. Mid range mirrors and like blue mirrors, those are fun. But
you can see no Relic of Progenitus being brought in, which I think is interesting to not attacking Luris here, but Glorybringers coming in to kill threats.
Leyline of Combustion is actually wild. I actually like that to bring it in because whenever you target someone, you take your own damage or something, or that's actually pretty cool because
I believe it's when your opponent targets something of yours, they lose 2 life or something like that.
That was also a player. Maybe it's not.
I think it hurts Thoughtseize. It's creature or player. So Lava Darts, Lava Spikes, all Seal of Fire
taking
now
2 damage.
Very, very silly.
Force of Rage is also sweet. So like you can just surprise Yama out of nowhere, and just like if Yama's taking too much damage off of killing some creatures with this is a pretty decent hand. It's pretty top heavy.
You get 2 removal spells to kill their first couple creatures. Luris changes the math a little bit about how good that used to be against Mono Red Prowess. Against Mono Red Prowess, it just used to be if you can kill 2 creatures, and then that should buy you enough time to draw more cards or play more things and do more. But Luris changes that because now even if Yamakiller floods out, he can just start rebuying all of his dead creatures.
That's Double Eidolon is pretty good. I think I still would have kept that probably, but Double Eidolon hand is pretty wild. And if you get this Torbran out with both of them, Eidolon starts dealing 4 damage. Well, and if you have both of them out, it's 8 of it.
Yeah, that's just game over at that point.
Yeah, because Yama can't cast any spells.
Right. Interesting, Fluffy Wolf kept in the Gemstone Caverns.
Oh, man.
On the
This is just even more brutal. I think you still have to keep it because it's just a land.
I think you don't have to play Eidolon here.
Yeah. Man, that card is just so... That's why I said I think you have to play the red-green monster deck because you actually have creatures that survive. You can't, like, for the most part, every creature that is not 4 mana and plus is a 2/2 or a 1/1. So
just look at that, though. That was just... Didn't even lose life to the Eidolon
because
Seal of Fire is that
luckily,
interesting. Yep.
Luckily, Yama doesn't have any more lands. I would be tempted to block here. Oh, wow.
Not even going to bait it. No, he's not even baiting it. Interesting.
I would not attack. Because
I think he's got the prison lock right now.
Yeah. I mean, and Yama obviously doesn't have a bolt because he would have bolted and attacked last turn. And I don't think letting him get in with like a lava dart and prowessing it up would be horrible right here.
If he had any spells, he would have already cast it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, so I think Yama is pretty... Oh. Wild. He's going to sacrifice the mountain? No way. Okay.
Oh, -1/-1 counter. Yep.
Yeah.
Scar Mage. You can see Fluffy Wolf's talking through his line here, deciding whether or not he wanted to attack last turn.
I think it's a very positive thing that he didn't attack, and it looks like Yama probably has another one. Ooh, that's a ton of damage.
That is a very good card right now. Making two
They have
3/1
haste, right?
elemental creatures with trample, and yeah, they have haste because you lose them at the end next turn. So
Fluffy has to take. Yeah, that's
This is
just lethal. That's wild. Because to even flashback the dart, he has to take 4 damage, and he has to sack a land.
His only land.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
So I think. So actually, something to actually of note, which I actually really like, is keeping in those blood moons. Because of Luris, Yama can actually not cast Luris or any of the white cards. I don't think Yama has that many white cards, but he can't cast Luris without the white Sacred Foundry and Inspiring Vantage and stuff.
Still
But
can't with
might not have.
Metamorphose.
Oh yeah, never mind. That's lame.
4 Metamorphose in his deck. Metamorphose being that amazing free card.
Amazing. You mean Blight on the format?
It hasn't been a Blight in the format in a little bit. I guess. I mean.
Yeah. It's not bad anymore.
No, I think Allosaurus Rider's a bigger. I think Grizzlebrand in general is just a bigger infractor.
A year ago, I would have been arguing for Metamorphose to be leaving, but Prowess is not that good anymore. Man, that is brutal to draw the Gemstone Caverns. Because if you would have been able to play a turn 2 creature, maybe this would have mattered. But this is a really slow hand against Prowess. I think you want at least a turn 1 play.
I actually wouldn't have kept this hand against Prowess simply because I have no removal spells. Eidolon's good, but not if they already have a creature in play.
And if they have 2, this Eidolon doesn't even matter.
Yep. You still have to play the Ash Zealot, right?
I think you still play the Eidolon.
Either. Yeah,
the Ash Zealot's worse in this spot. But then next turn when you do play an Ash Zealot or a Rabble Master, well, who cares? Yeah. So, like...
He's just way too far behind. He's going to get out-tempoed here.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter how low life total Yamakiller really gets, because I'm pretty sure... Well, he doesn't have a removal spell for the Eidolon. That's pretty obvious. But...
Not yet.
Yeah, he has 3 cards. So this could actually be pretty decent if he can get in some damage. Oh, wow.
Chump block here. I think he's got a chump block. He's in chump block mode.
I disagree. I think you can't, because there's a... I was about to say, it's probably an obvious light up the stage here, because he doesn't have a removal spell.
There's your favorite card in Modern right now, Seal of Fire.
Yeah, and I think taking the 2 damage is worth it for Yamakiller to have to play that Seal of Fire. Also, I'm surprised he didn't play the Seal of Fire.
The only reason not to is Eidolon. He's got plenty of mana. I bet he's got another land in hand.
Yeah, but Eidolon's dead.
Well, if Fluffy played another Eidolon, it would save him 2 life.
Yeah.
Doesn't need it.
I think... Oh, but you can also get Prowess off the Seal of Fire trigger, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's why I would hold on to it.
I think without Metamorphose, I think this this Prowess deck would be way not as good.
Yeah, but it's a free spell. It's an absolutely free spell that helps you. Interesting, I was going to say, he hasn't done much. Yamakiller hasn't done much with Luris so far this game. So even if there was like a Blood Moon effect style in play, which you'd mentioned, didn't matter. No white spells have been cast.
Fluffy's dead on board here.
Yep.
It's 8 damage with the Seal of Fire. 8 plus 2 is 10.
Yep, 4, 10.
Brutal. I think that's just showing the how awful this matchup is. I don't even think it's that close.
No, Prowess just gets bigger, faster.
Yeah.
I actually wonder, maybe we can chat with Fluffy Wolf later if they're going to be in chat. Keeping in a Simian Spirit Guide post board just to try to speed up your clock a little bit.
Yeah. I just think this type of deck is just not going to be good against Lava Dart decks and decks that play Seal of Fire and Recursion. All of your cards before you hit 4 mana are 2/2s. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's just not going to do anything. Which is sad.
Says, I just don't really like Big Red in general. I liked Big Red when it was Koth. I thought Koth was a really neat card.
Shred was a cool deck.
I hate Blood Moon. I just not a big fan of those
Oh,
style
me too.
effects.
Doesn't do anything. You're not
I mean,
attempting to play the game.
I've lost to plenty of turn one blood moons that just kind of cheat, get cheated out. I've also won plenty of games. I've won as Amulet Titan against a turn one blood moon. My opponent said, "This isn't supposed to happen." It's like, well, you didn't do anything. You dropped the turn one moon, and then I cast a turn six Titan.
Yeah.
Turns out a 6/6 is still pretty good.
Yeah, Blood Moon is to stop your opponent from casting the spells if they have basics. Just sometimes that's my problem with the cards like that is just like you're not attempting to play a game, you're attempting to cheese a game, and you're not really trying to actually like do anything. Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
like effects like Pillage or Molten Rain a little bit more. I think that they always have an effect. Being able to blow up a land is always useful. Destroying an artifact is always useful. And Molten Rain and decks that would want to play it, the shock should be useful. I'm actually running more Molten Rain than Pillage in my sideboard for my Loris Jund deck. My deck tech was aired last night. You can check it out on last night's video. It was very silly deck tech, but I run Molten Rain because I favor the 2 damage more than the Pillage effect. And I'm not running like Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon or any of those cards because those cards aren't going to win you a game. They're just going to prison out your opponent long enough. It's kind of like a reverse Thoughtseize. I Thoughtseize you. I take a card from your hand. You can't play this card. I Blood Moon you. I'm hoping that you have a card in your hand that I effectively took away and said you can't play this card.
Yeah.
But I'm not guaranteed like I would with a Thoughtseize.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Blood Moon does deal with the top of your deck, and Thoughtseize does not. But that's why we run Kolaghan's Command. What'd you just top deck? Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Instant speed discard.
Instant speed discard is annoying, but it's fun. But yeah, like I don't even rarely play decks that lose to Blood Moon in Modern. Like all my decks usually have a bunch of basics, and that just isn't something that I do that's popular because like my decks usually run a bunch of birds and a bunch of dorks, and it's still just like when people play Blood Moon, I'm just like, oh come on, this isn't fun. And even when you beat it, it's just like, why didn't I play a game? Like they played a 3-mana enchantment that did nothing. Well, this wasn't that fun. But
it's Blood Moon will win games that you shouldn't win with it, which might make you think it's better than it is.
Yeah, right.
A lot of new players sometimes gravitate towards Blood Moon because they're like, oh, it stopped this opponent from doing anything and I won the game. But what was your sample size? How many times did it also not do anything at all? If you're going to run Blood Moon, I think it's much better sideboard. But even then, it's still like your opponent, if they're expecting it, like Tron is like, yep, I'm bringing you Nature's Flame. Yep, they have to have it.
That's why that green-red Ponza deck that was terrorizing Modern the past 3 months, there's a green-red Ponza deck where it wasn't really Ponza, it was Ponza-less Ponza. It wasn't
Monsters,
playing really...
Yeah.
It was awesome. And the cool thing about it was playing Magus of the Moon and not Blood Moon because it doesn't get hit by all the hate that
Turns
Blood
out a
Moon
2/2 can still deal damage.
Yeah, and yeah, it's Blood Moon with pressure, which is what you need to beat some decks. But I just found it interesting because like there's some metagames where Blood Moon is actually insane. Like I remember like 4 years ago when I was playing Modern, Valakut Titan Shift was everywhere. It was just the deck online all the time. It was like the most popular deck. It was just green red Titan Shift. And the Ponza deck was the perfect foil to that deck because the Ponza deck was actually insane versus Titan Shift.
It was also
because
running Acid Moss at that time, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. You just went turn 2. Went turn 2 Blood Moon, turn 3 Acid Moss their Forest, and they just lost. And then you played like what is the?
That's
the
mean.
fire.
That is evil.
It was Red Titan.
Yep.
It was Red Titan versus Green Titan, and you
Yep.
played a Red Titan on turn 4, and they played a Prime Time never because they had no lands. But yeah,
I really like the current iteration of what Ponza style decks have been, and the Dive Down actually just did a real Dive Down podcast. Just did a really good introduction video to Ponza. They all played it and gave their thoughts. Definitely check them out. The Dive Down. But the new Ponza deck isn't really Ponza. They run Magus of the Moon and maybe a couple Molten Rain or Pillage in the sideboard, but it's a red-green ramp deck that gets very aggressive, very fast. I like Fluffy Wolf's decks, but the deck he just had just now, if he had a green, if he was able to cast like a turn 3 Glorybringer instead of a turn 6 Glorybringer, that could have made all the difference in that matchup.
Or even Klothys. Like, Klothys won't outrace your opponent, won't keep you from dying against your opponent with that, because it's only 2 damage a turn on your upkeep. However, you can exile a Seal of Fire, or you can exile a Lava Dart from your opponent's graveyard, where it can be super punishing for them, or you can ramp yourself up. And gaining 2 life is actually huge. Like, it's not like, oh, I won now that I gained 2 life against Burn. That's also a body.
It's good
like
as long as you're backing up the pressure. The life gain, 2 life gain against Burn is pretty relevant. That's why Radiant Fountain is so good in Amulet Titan against Burn. Against a mono red prowess deck like Yamakiller just had, the 2 life isn't as relevant because they're probably crashing in for chunks of 8 and 10 at a time. But the repeat, it's a 2 life and it's a 2 damage in this matchup. So now you can all of a sudden say, not only is it a little bit harder to kill me, but now my dragon can crash through. And it's a lot easier for me to kill you too. Klothys is really, it reminds me a lot of, it's basically a 3-mana Keranos.
Yeah. Klothys is one of my favorite cards that I haven't really found a place for in Modern yet, just because I don't really like playing that style of green-red deck. But I want to find a place for it. And it's just such a cool card. And I think it's very powerful in the right deck. But
I'd love to run it in Jund, but Lurrus is just a little bit better.
A little bit. I agree.
Next up, we have Francisco against Caleb Schurer. Caleb has Dredge and Neobrand. Francisco has Amulet Titan and Astral Ren. So looking at that, Caleb's not going to be playing Dredge because Amulet Titan has a field day against Dredge-style decks. So we're probably going to see another Grizzlebrand deck tonight. I guess tonight is a night of Grizzlebrand. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's 2 matches so far were Grizzlebrand matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
It looks like it'll be 3 out of 4. And if you're Francisco, knowing that you're probably going to be playing against a Grizzlebrand deck, are you going to bring Amulet Titan Karn, or are you going to be bringing your Astral Ren deck?
One, I think, like you said earlier with Sodek, Francisco is an Amulet Titan player, and he doesn't want to lose his Titan deck. And he's already lost that first round, so he's out of deck. And I think he wants to have that last stretch if he can play Amulet. And Amulet's bad against Neoform. Yep. So if he's going to have to play against Neoform, I don't think there's any point in suiciding his Amulet deck at all. Especially because I think Astral Ren is a pretty cool deck, and it can do some crazy things. So, like, we're going to get to see what happens. Hopefully, Francisco picks the Astral Ren deck. Mostly because I don't really want to watch some Primeval Titans tonight. But
we'd be seeing Primeval Titan against Neoform to start and to close out the night if that was the case.
Yeah.
But this time we would be seeing it potentially from a different perspective. So we'll be up with Francisco against Caleb Schurer in just a minute. All right. And welcome back to our final match of the night. Looks like Francisco is on the Astral Ren deck. This hand does not look like it's competitive against Neo Brand.
Oh, but it has a Wall of Blossoms. That's one of my favorite cards. I would keep it. Also, it's Eternal Witness. Like, oh, that card is beautiful.
This hand would be good against Jund. Maybe
Oh
Burn.
man, this hand would crush Jund.
Good against Burn too. But what does this hand do?
Oh, against Neoform, nothing.
Yeah. Turn 2, Wall of Blossoms. Turn 3, Eternal Witness, back a fetch land. Turn 4, Hunt Master of the Fells. And yeah, there we go. There's the mulligan. Keeps a red and heavy ramp hand.
Yeah, I don't think this hand is interesting, but it also has that Tranquil Thicket, so he can play like a Birds of Paradise and a Ren, and then cycle and pick up the Tranquil Thicket on turn 2, which is pretty sweet.
Because
and so he
really
can hopefully find some
plan,
action.
Though.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the deck, it doesn't have a ton of options against this deck. And Caleb's a really, really good combo player, so, and it looks like he didn't mulligan. So I'd be surprised if Francisco wasn't just dead on turn 2.
Interesting to note that Caleb does not know which deck Francisco's on till right now. Because there's no companion in Francisco's deck. It's not like he revealed whether he's on Titan or Astral Ren until right now. Not that that would change the decision too much from Caleb, but Caleb should know that if he's placing the Astral Ren deck, he probably has another turn more than if he's playing against like the Titan deck.
That's what I was gonna say. If he thinks he's, I think Caleb knew he's not gonna play Titan. So I think Caleb might have kept a 7 that's like 1 card away, or like I said, he's gonna kill him on
there. Yep.
He's gonna kill him on turn 2. And then you see Francisco is just trying to hope he bricks.
Hope that's his only out at the moment. Because it's not like he actually even has a clock here.
Yeah. Now I've had very many people brick though from this spot where you draw 14 cards off of it, and then there's just nothing.
Mm-hmm. We saw it happen round 1.
Yeah,
with Kevin.
Yeah,
against Sodek. Round 1, game 2. All right, he already got rid of 1 Nourishing Shoal.
Yeah, so he might brick. I think that's one. Oh, he looks like he's probably going to Manamorphose here with the Simian Spirit Guide, I'm guessing.
That's a sign of weakness right there.
Yeah.
Okay, Wild Cantor. Doesn't...
That allows him to Serum Visions.
Oh, he's got it. Pact for the Worm. Life Goes On. Okay, so Wild Cantor lets you gain life for Life Goes On there. $19 cards in hand. Does he have a Nourishing Shoal? No! Oh, wow. Wow, poor Caleb. That he lost to me with his Storm deck yesterday. Yikes. And the sideboard plan for Astral Ren gets so much better. Access to Graft Digger's Cage, Path to Exile, Celestial. Damping Sphere, Purge. This entire sideboard looks like it's built to beat Neo
I would
Brand.
board in those. I would definitely board in those Avalanche Riders for sure.
I think it's better than like a Renegade Rallier.
Or Ren at 6. Ren at 6 is a good, like, though, yeah, Ren at 6 is pretty good. Yeah, I don't like Renegade Rallier here.
The Wall of Blossoms does nothing, so it could just be that.
Yeah, I think Ren at 6. I actually kind of like the Lightning Helixes because you can just get your opponent sometimes. But, like,
I don't think you're going to get Caleb with that, though. Like, I agree with that, like, against an average, like, Neo Brand player, but I don't think Caleb's going to get got by a Lightning Helix.
Yes, but like I agree, but you can also like get there's some weird things that can happen with
look at Francisco. He knows he just lucked that game 1 right there.
Yeah, definitely.
His least favorite matchup in Modern, playing a not very good matchup.
Yeah, I actually like Red and 6 also actually post board because of the Tranquil Thicket. Yeah, so he's that like turn 2 Tranquil Thicket. I don't know if he's gonna keep this.
You need the
Oh,
round
he
6 to make
did.
the Astral Drift relevant.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Astral
yeah.
Drift alone can stop a Grizzlebrand, right?
But also, yeah, I think so. But also
Yeah.
with the Renin 6, you can just draw so many cards a turn with the Tranquil Thicket and Forgotten Cave. So you can draw like it allows that card advantage to find your sideboard cards pretty quick when you have one or two in your hand already, and it's just that backup engine that allows you to get going after you have that first
Wonder why
interaction.
Caleb cited in the Deliverance there, probably just for a cage. Cycling that is either a sign of weakness or it's just saying he's got a second one in hand right now.
I
'Cause
often see lots of Neo brand players. Almost all of them bring it in at least one or two dissenters or four dissenters deliverances, and they cycled on turn one so often. It's just like another Serum Visions.
Francisco right now is holding up either Celestial Purge to stop Grizzlebrand, or he's going to double cycle here.
Yeah.
So
Man,
wise play, taking it. He's not really even taking a turn off thanks to the value of those.
that's pretty bad
Tranquil
for
Thickets.
Caleb.
Yep. Yeah, Manamorphose second main.
Yeah, this
Can he do
Celestial
it?
Purge. And if he can't combo off through the Celestial Purge, he just loses because of the Summer Spectre. Well, almost. He can pay for it with the Simian Spirit Guide, but doesn't look like he has it here.
I think he just used the cycle draw card.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, he does have the Eldritch Evolution.
Well, Celestial Purge is going to be pretty real right now.
But now the problem is Caleb needs to draw 7 more cards, like right here. Oh, I guess he can also do it in response to the Celestial Purge. But like, yeah.
If he drew a Pact of Negation, he can completely shut down Francisco's plan and just win through it anyway. So
Yeah. There's a lot of scenarios where the Purge does nothing.
oh, and this is what makes this deck feel unfair to play against. Just in response to a fetch land, not even to the removal yet.
Yeah, so there's no way he doesn't have. If there's packs in his deck, there's no way he like doesn't draw one.
I mean, there's a way, right? He's just
Well, yeah. But now
27 cards left in his deck. He's going
and
to
if
draw.
he boarded in 4, or he already had 4 in his main deck, like
So he'll be down to 20 cards in his main deck.
that'd be surprising if he didn't draw a pact. Oh wow! Especially if he draws his entire deck, right here. Wild.
He
doesn't
can still
even
win
need
with the
cards.
Serum Visions. Yep.
Yeah.
So he has to win now, though, or have a. He basically has to win this turn. I guess he doesn't technically, because Simian Spirit Guide can pay for the pack, like you said. But
Yeah, but yeah, I think he's going to win this turn. I don't think it's.
I don't see how he doesn't win this turn.
Unless he just doesn't have a pact at all, but
19 cards left in his deck.
and he could still draw 7 right here.
Well, the Purge will be played before that.
No, but
That's still on the
he's a
stack.
13. He's a 13. He can still draw another 7.
Yep. Okay, I thought you meant the 7 that's already on the stack.
Yeah, no. I don't think.
3 red mana.
Is he just gonna kill him in response to the fetch? I don't think he can, but that'd be insane. Or maybe he has a lightning.
Like a lightning storm.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Maybe he does.
If Francisco somehow wins this, he's going to have won the match without swinging, without even having a creature in play, right? Like a relevant creature.
Without casting a spell other than Birds of Paradise, both in that games.
Well, I assume the birds in a purge. That's it. Yep. Wow. Either way, something exciting's happening right here.
Is he gonna play Flash and Flash in like Lab Maniac. Flash Bubble Hulk. I'm just kidding. Yeah, like Caleb has 30 cards in his hand. If he has a pact in his deck, like there's no way.
9 cards left in his deck.
Draw 7, yeah. He's dead. Whoa!
Did not have a pact.
Unless he goes Labman, cycle, or something.
You would need a Simian Spirit Guide and another Metamorphose. Or Thassa's
Oh,
Oracle.
okay. Because there's 2 cards.
Yep, well done. 2 cards left in his deck. Thassa's Oracle.
Nice.
That is the game. Okay, game number 3. We saw
Wow.
Francisco with the sideboard card. Caleb might be siding back in the packs, or maybe he just accepted that because he didn't need to show off the pact there because he had the win regardless.
Yeah, if Francisco just had like a Damping Sphere or a Grafdigger's Cage, then he would have just had so much more time.
Yeah. Someone in chat said that Neo Brand doesn't run Thassa's Oracle, but we just saw it win a game right there.
I think it depends on the deck and the player, and I think most often it's in the sideboard.
Let's see.
But I think Caleb is playing in the main board.
Caleb's running 1 main board.
Yeah.
He's actually not running a Labman.
Yeah.
I do think Thassa's Oracle is just a strictly better Labman. The only advantage to Labman is that it isn't blue-blue.
Yeah, but if you can't get to exactly 0 cards in your library, then Thassa's Oracle is susceptible to removal. But
oh, look at this hand!
This hand's great.
Do you go turn 1 Cage out of fear of a turn 1 kill, or do you go turn 1 Bird so then you can go turn 2 Run and 6 and?
Depends on if my opponent mulligans.
Okay.
I think if they keep 7, I'm worried. But since Caleb's thinking about it so long, I feel like you can just play Grafdigger's Cage on Birds of Paradise first.
What's the advantage to... So, obviously you accelerate your game plan, but I think you have to play the Cage here just out of respect. Opponent mulled to 6.
Yeah, so I would play the Cage. I would definitely play the Birds first. Yeah.
I was trying to think... So, unless he gets absolutely turn 1 killed here, he needs that Bird to accelerate, because now he can go turn 2 Ren, buy back to fetch land, and then go Cage, and now he's...
And then he has Avalanche, because then he has Avalanche Riders on turn 3, which I think is way more important than playing a Cage on turn 1.
Another
or you could play
here.
Damping Sphere is really good too. Now here you need to play the Cage. The Noble doesn't matter that much anymore because you have that, and the fear of turn 1 is not high.
Right, but if you went turn 1 Cage, then you might just be doing turn 2 Bird because you're not even guaranteed that second
which is
land
bad.
drop. Going turn 1 Bird lets you keep pumping out your lands with that
which is why I think that's the correct play. And now you get to Avalanche Riders when they didn't cast anything, or you can just play Damping Sphere and Graf Cage.
Yeah, I think Damping Sphere, Grafdigger's Cage, 4 mana, and you can go Grafdigger's Cage, Noble Hierarch, Damping Sphere, and if that doesn't end the game, then I don't know what it is, because Caleb doesn't have anything to kill multiple artifacts.
Yeah, I think here is just game over.
Heads up play, obviously playing the Damping Sphere last, because otherwise you can't play all 3 spells in one turn. I'm sure there's been plenty of few people on MTGO trying to do that and being like, wait, why can't I? Why won't it let me? Why won't it let me play it? Because Damping Sphere hits you too. Francisco's like, yeah, I got this. He stole game 1.
There's no way he loses from here. I don't think.
No.
Unless he goes like unless Caleb has Shattering Spree or something and goes
Engineered Explosives on 1 into Dissenter's Deliverance, blowing up the Damping Sphere. That is an out.
And Francisco doesn't have a fast clock, but now it's game over because they have Avalanche Riders and Astral Drift.
I just want to see the Astral Drift going.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Francisco, I 100%. You saw me yesterday. I didn't side out Renin 6 against Storm from Jund when I was playing Caleb yesterday. I think Renin 6 is too important in low land count decks. Look at that. This deck needs Renin 6 even more than Jund does. Look at that. Wow.
Wild.
Thank you, Francisco, for taking out a Neo Brand deck. It's sad to see Caleb go because Caleb's a great guy, but I just don't like Neo Brand decks, so I'm always going to root against them.
Just start beating them.
Well, Kevin KO Diamond still has a Neo Brand deck. So
Yeah.
I think he's the last Neo Brand left. I have to double check. We'll have an updated in the credits. We'll have an updated who's got what deck left, where the brackets are remaining. That was round 1 of the losers bracket. We're going to keep playing. We're doing the winners bracket on Tuesday. Tune in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when we will be playing and keep playing this tournament. Next Thursday will be our first elimination matches where players will get knocked out. The 03 players will get knocked out permanently from this tournament.
Not even invited back.
Never invited back. No, we invite our players back because our players are pretty good human beings. I can't believe Francisco's in the chat right now. Francisco, did you pick Astral Ren because you were throwing the deck away against Neo Brand and you wanted to save Amulet, or did you honestly think you're going to win that matchup?
Because in my opinion, is that sideboard. I think his sideboard is so well positioned for that matchup because he's playing a 60 card deck. He has a bunch of hate cards, and you have tons of acceleration. You can just play. If you go with that Grafdigger's Cage, you have a lot of time, unless they have the Disinterest Deliverance on turn 2. But you still have that. But yeah.
2 Cage, 2 Path, which do okay. Kind of like the 2 Celestial Bird. They sometimes will get you there.
Damping Sphere.
1 Damping Sphere, 1 Even Mind Sensor.
Yeah, so, I think Amulet's just so much worse against this Neoform deck. But that said,
Amulet had a massively higher change with Astral Run. You'd have much higher chance with Astral Run with Amulet. But it's still, I still, despite the fact that you did win, I still think Neo Brand was favored there. Well played, Francisco. Thank you again for taking out Neo Brand because I just don't like that deck.
What's your most hated card? What card do you just despise the most that isn't Griselbrand?
I don't like Laboratory Maniac / Thassa's Oracle. I don't like alternate win conditions like that style. It's another reason. Another deck I don't like is Ad Nauseam because I feel like those decks also go against the spirit of the game.
Yeah. Okay.
A big thing they do is they'll cast a ton of packs and they're dead, right? Like, sure, let's say we're role playing. You're the Ad Nauseam player. I'm just a fair Jund player or something. You cast 30 packs turn 1. I'm exaggerating, of course. And you kill me. But if this was a real Magic battle or a role play scenario, you'd be dead
just die.
a second later to all of your packs. Or if you're Ad Nauseam, you'd be dead to all your negative 300 life. I don't like that. It feels like it cheats the reality. And I know it's not a real thing. I know it's a game. A great game that Wizards of the Coast has designed and built and tuned and is still constantly developing and playing. We are sponsored by Wizards of the Coast, by the way, and they are fantastic. And no, they did not ask me to say that. I just think they are. We have this entire show here about a game they made, so glad they made it. But I feel like those decks just kind of cheat the way normal games work in a way that is not intuitive to new players and, to be honest, not even intuitive to experienced players. Like Lightning Storm is such a weird card to play against. You could still have like 6 lands in your hand, and like how it plays out is just. I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's intuitive. And I don't think it's great from a role playing perspective either.
Man, I remember one time beating an Adnals player because they had Lightning Storm, and I flooded out so bad. I mean, I just didn't play any of my lands because I didn't have any creatures on the battlefield. I didn't have anything, and I had 4 lands on the battlefield, so I just didn't do anything. I had 7 lands in my hand, and he flooded out bad, but kept playing his lands. So, yeah, so my Lightning Storm was able to counteract my lands were able to counteract his Lightning Storm enough because he just didn't account for the lands in my hand when I had 7. It's just like it's just like what we're not even playing now. We're just like throwing lands at each other. It's like, wait, what are we doing?
That's not exactly a fun Magic game. Not
Yeah.
at all. The chat just mentioned you sometimes go all in with packs for Amulet Titan. Yes, sometimes. That's super rare. I've done it a few times where like I had to pact and then I packed a negation and I wouldn't have that, and that feels a little dirty. Let's be real. That feels a little dirty. It's nice, but it's still a little dirty. It's nowhere near as egregious as like a Neo brand or
It
Ad
used to be
Nauseam.
when Summer Bloom was still a deck. Half the time you were winning on turn 3 was with that
Hive Mind.
enchantment Hive Mind.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
but it
didn't play
used but
Titan
that
with Hive Mind.
I know. That was a long time ago. That was like 2015 or something. That was crazy deck because like it
Hive
wasn't
Mind
even
was
that like
still a thing last January. There was still Amulet Titan. I think Dilch
yeah,
was
but
still running Hive Mind and
yeah, it was
Amulet
like a one
Titan.
up. Yeah,
Yep.
but it's way less consistent now and stuff like that. Whereas like the decks with Summer Bloom, you just had Summer Bloom on turn 2 every game, so you had like and you ran like 4 copies of like Hive Mind because it's just different deck back then.
Yep.
But yeah,
Chat's mentioning, I think a slight me getting old joke. I don't know. My eyes. I need glasses to. I'm too old. I can't read the chat, guys.
Francisco
33
also said.
years.
Andrea also said my beard was much better than yours.
No, Andrea's biased. He wants me to. He doesn't want to win the league. He just wants me to not win it. So right off the
Fair.
bat, just to discredit anything
And
Andrea
and
says.
me and Andrea are both on Team Fire, and you're on the
Yes,
losing Team Ice. So
I did everything in my power to make Team Ice win.
yeah, it's not
I
really your
literally
fault,
couldn't do more.
Kevin. Kevin.
Yeah,
It's not really your fault.
no, it was close, 51 to 49. For
Oh
those
yeah, that was crazy.
last season of the Modern Streamers League in 2019, we had Team Fire against Team Ice in 100 matches of Modern play, and Team Fire came out on top in a come from behind victory, 51 to 49. That
Crazy.
means 51 out of 49. We were literally one match difference apart from
From
being
tying.
tied. You can't get any closer than we were in the Modern Streamers League last year.
That was
So
fun.
I'm playing around with different ideas for the third Modern Streamers League, which will be coming up next, or maybe even a Pioneer Streamers League. We've been tossing around for a little bit. Might bring back the teams, but I've been liking this tournament style
Oh yeah, I
play.
like this Storm style quite a bit too.
It's a little
It
bit more
makes it more exciting.
individualistic, but
Yeah, I think it's
having
a
the
little more
three
exciting.
decks, I really like having the three decks that you get to choose from. Right now, we have a lot of modern decks and a lot of modern matchups. And I know tonight we saw a lot of Grizzlebrand, but night one we saw a lot of mid-range decks, and Kevin's match alone was I think like 55 minutes.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
lot of grindy games there.
Yikes. Yeah, Kevin. It doesn't matter what deck he's playing. He could be playing Infect and win on turn 3. It would still take 10 minutes. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I think the tournament style, the esports tournament style bracket, those brackets are super exciting because it means you're always in it until you're out. It doesn't matter if you lose, you can still win.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 weeks, 5 weeks later, the person who went 0-2 can still win the entire tournament. The person
Yes.
who went 4-0 can lose 3 times in a row in the finals to
Mm-hmm.
lose. If that ends up happening, sometimes the elimination bracket doesn't get to the finals, but sometimes it
Well,
does.
there'll be one player from the elimination bracket that gets to the finals. The finals is it's going to be the winner's bracket is going to play the loser's bracket, and then
Yeah.
the
Oh,
winner of
okay.
that moves on to the finals, and the winner of the elimination bracket moves all the way up to the finals to
Yeah.
play the winner of the winner versus losers. So they have a long road. If you start 0-2 in this, you might have to play like 12 matches of Magic
So
um,
you'd win. Yeah.
to win the entire thing. Where if you just go straight undefeated the entire run, I think you can be 7-0 and just win the entire. You basically get
Yeah.
buys. The way
Yeah.
the structure is, you basically get buys. So
Wild.
Foxman
But
suggested we get a teleprompter for me because I'm getting old. Right.
rude.
I
How
don't
rude.
like ad nauseum, so I can read that. Thank you for reminding me, you guys. I don't like the deck ad nauseum. I just don't like Laboratory Maniac, and Thassa's Oracle is a better Laboratory Maniac.
Yeah. wild. It's and the play patterns that it's created, like Inverter and Pioneer.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
So this is the Modern Streamers League. Thank you all for joining us this evening. A bit shorter than a typical league, but we had 4 matches in tonight. Just a lot of combo and a lot of aggro. It was we had Neo Brand against Amulet Titan. We had Burn against Grizzlebrand. Then we had Mono Red against Mono Red Prowess. And then we had Astral Ren against Neo Brand. So a lot of combo, either combo or aggro decks in every single matchup along the way. What was your favorite match of the night, Garrett?
I think it was Astral Ren versus Neoform, to be honest. I think that was one of the most exciting matchups we got to see. Also, just because like playing with cards like Astral Ren and stuff, that's fun.
Fun. We didn't actually get to see Francisco's deck really go off. Game 1,
No, but
Caleb's deck kind of didn't do much. Game 2 he did, and then Game 3, Francisco just drew every single sideboard card possible, which is a brilliant thing to see.
but the tension is just so much fun in that for me. Like I that's my like hesitant where I actually barely appreciate the Neoform deck. It's because it's like I have my turn. I'm on the draw. I have my interaction.
Mhm.
Am I dead? Am I dead? And it's like whatever. It's a coin flip at that point, but still.
That's what a lot of, back when Amulet Titan had that second renaissance after they moved from Hive Mind and it just became more all about prime time. I had a lot of players, like in paper, be like, "Am I dead? Am I dead?" When I cast like a turn 1
No.
Amulet, a turn 2 Azusa, they're like, "Am I dead? Am I dead?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna cast prime time and attack you for 8, but no, you're not dead. You're functionally dead. I'm gonna win, in a turn or 2, but you're not dead. But it's that I like that pressure that games can
That's fun.
create, where it's like, oh, this deck can come back from
Oh yeah.
losing. I like
Oh.
that pressure. Collected Company decks, as you know, do that quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
But
I love
Neoform,
casting
that
Druid
just
on
wins.
turn. I love casting turn 2 Druid, and then your Amulet opponent is like, "Am I dead? Do you have the Vizier?" And it's just funny. I'm like, "No, not yet." And then I rip it off the top. I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And they're like, "You lied." I'm like, "No, I'm just really lucky."
I just drew the exact card I needed. Yep.
Once you play certain decks enough, they start to like you. And for me,
you have this theory, and I've watched your stream. You cast Collected Company. Even if you whiff and only hit one thing, it's still a Ranger Captain or an
Every
Eternal
time.
Witness or
Oh, yeah.
something amazing. Me, last time I streamed, I cast Collected Company. I got Birds of Paradise. That's it. Not even plural. Not even plural Birds of Paradise. Singular. And I went, that's not exactly where I want to be. And I don't. Maybe it's because I betrayed the Collected Company gods,
Yeah.
which is probably your opinion. But
me and the Mod Fox in the chat, we both think that way. And it was just funny. We were testing for regionals a couple months ago, and we did the play test on stream. And it was funny because we were playing this Dimir Urza versus Druid, and you Thoughtseize my Druid, and you push my Druid, and then I top deck a 3rd Druid in a row. And I'm like a mold of like 6, and it was just like, my hand, every card. I still kill you on turn 4. It was just insane.
that was brutal.
Oh yeah.
Especially since I believe I was like, yeah, the Urza player is heavily favored here. And you're like, no,
Yeah.
the Druid player's favored. And then you luckily drew every card you needed there.
All the time.
I couldn't beat it. Yep. It's Garrett's better gaming chair. I do like my gaming chair. Ooh,
Oh, I
there
don't
you
really
go.
have.
It's squeaky.
Mine's
though.
just an office chair. I want one. I need a gaming chair. We should. Yeah, that's what. So you need to sponsor us, Michael. You need to get us some Modern Streamers League chairs. I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe a chair.
I'm just teasing.
Gaming chair companies of the world. If you would like to sponsor Modern Streamers League, I believe
That'd be
the
fun.
players just want chairs. Not too many of them. Just 16 to 20, depending upon the season. Not too many chairs. No, it's not like
Yeah, that's yeah.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
not like
Star City might have gotten less, so we're not asking for the world. Just 16 to 20 of your very
Oh.
expensive chairs delivered all over the world.
Yeah,
That'd be sweet, though.
that would be really fun. Especially because you're old back, you might need one soon.
Yeah, my old deck.
Just kidding. Oh man, this was fun. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Oh yeah.
We are sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and Card Hoarder. Join us again Tuesday, and then again Wednesday and Thursday night, 8 p.m. If you missed this stream or any others, definitely check out the YouTube channel or watch the Twitch VOD. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.